Alright, today's set is ReggiesWarOnEverything versus Zain. Reggie is running Mole Knight, Platinum, Carl Clover from seasons 4, 5, and 5. Zain is running Eugenia, Sea Viper, and 9, the Phantom from seasons 2, 3, and 5. They have just revealed their first characters. Let us switch over to Tabletop Simulator with one of these buttons. That's the one. Alright. I am aware of the background noise in the mic. I have not figured out what to do about that, sorry. So, first round is going to be Eugenia versus Mole Knights. Zain running Eugenia, ReggiesWarOnEverything versus running Mole Knights. These are both experienced players, and they are running their mains, so we're going to see some good gameplay here. I'm quite sure of it. Please enjoy the show. I'm not in the tournament, I am just here to stream and commentate and have a good time. Alright, players secretly select their first character, then reveal simultaneously, so that's where we're at right now, for those not familiar with the procedure. This is a best of 3 sets, and the winner of the first game will retire their character, meaning they have to switch after the first game. Zain is referring here to a running joke about the coin always resulting in tails. Anyone with experience flipping the coin in TTS knows that is not actually the case. Alright, Eugenia almost 4. This is unfortunate for Mole Knight. He always wants to go first because he has a very standard opening play, which is place the burrow at range 1 from the opponent, sets up his turn 2 to be extremely threatening no matter what the opponent does, essentially. Being in the back foot is pretty bad for him. Ooh, not a strike. Turn 1 prep. Alright, that's a surprise. Alright, here we have tunneling. Move up to 3, then if you're on the burrow, add this to gauge. Mole Knight chooses to move 0, and therefore just adds it to his gauge directly. This is basically the key charge boost from Season 3. Mole Knight wants to get that 4 gauge to exceed as soon as possible because he has an excellent exceed mode. Basically adds +2 power to almost all the attacks that he initiates. Eugenia now striking. Standard... Oh! Okay! Yeah, standard issue dive just hits that block push. Block push covers 2 of Eugenia's openers, which are Wear Light and Absent Arrow. They are projectiles, which hit from opening positions. Block push would guard through them and hit back, but it loses cleanly against the dive. So she gets into melee. Right, Mole Knight boosts Molten Armor, has extra maximum range, and can deal some damage when he's hit, threatening a focus or a sweep, which would be unavoidable by Eugenia. Well, the focus would be at any rate. Actually, no, neither of them would. Huh. Well, threatening to, at minimum, make sure that she takes some damage. Alright, Eugenia boosting Fierce, assuring that she is perfectly willing to trade. Defend, yep, more of the same. Now beginning to threaten a Color Spray. Alright, we have a Tech, probably dropping that Defense. Nope, getting that Fierce out of the way, alright. Mole Knight also willing to trade. Defend up threatens Color Spray, an attack which is very unsafe, but extremely punishing if it lands. Let me just zoom in on a Color Spray over here. Rips the opponent's hand to shreds, and for those not familiar with Eugenia, that can deal a lot of extra damage as well. We have a reading, successful on sweep, hits a... okay. Plot hook. That's reasonable, yep, she's going to take 2 damage from that Molten Armor, pull 5, gain advantage, and Mole Knight whiffs. She gains the advantage, so it is her turn again. This is a really important turn, actually. Mole Knight, on his turn, can just strike from burrow, and he probably will, so she preps, and here we go, yep. He's going to come back in. She did not press her range advantage to hit with an Absent Arrow that he would have been probably unlikely to contest because we know 1 block push already was down. Alright, so as a before effect, he will move to the burrow if the burrow is unoccupied. This can stack with other before effects, so he could hit, for example, with dive, by advancing through with dive and then moving to the burrow. Looks like he played a focus. She just played a nice, classic, safe block. Not much that was threatening there because Spike doesn't hit at range 1, and he doesn't have an Ignore armor option at range 1 to threaten from the burrow. Alright. Eugenia comfortable here at range 1. She only has 2 gauge, so she can't threaten her biggest haymakers, which are her ultras. But she is, despite appearances, at least half a grappler. I refer to her as a half grappler, as a mixed grappler, because she has back-breaking moves, which are extremely punishing when they land. The thing about it that makes her a half grappler is that she also has ranged pokes, which aren't very threatening. So Arrow does 2 to 4 damage most of the time. You've already seen Plot Hook in action, which does 3 damage. Often used in melee to get the opponent's range, or at range to get the opponent in melee. But then her command grabs are things like Color Spray, which deals 6, 8, maybe 10 damage depending, or Wear Light. Alright, she plays Cross, backing out of melee. Mole Knight gets that 4th gauge. Alright, this puts her in not the ideal position, but she has 3 gauge. Mole Knight has 4, however, so he's going to flip. Yep, activate his Exceed mode. Alright, now, previously when he placed his burrow, which I don't actually think we ever saw him take that action, but he has an action to place the burrow and draw a card, so he draws a total of 2 cards if he does that. He places it at range 3 specifically from himself. Now that he's in Exceed mode, he places it at range 2, 3, or 4. Furthermore, if he uses the burrow, meaning when he initiates a strike, he can declare that he gains the burrow's effect. This before effect gives him +2 power if he moves into the burrow's space with it. Previously, it was just before if the burrow's unoccupied, move until you're in its space. Move until you're in its space, excuse me. Alright, this is unfortunate. She boosts Edge of Insanity, almost certainly a waste, because it doesn't affect Mole Knight at all. She does get a random discard, gonna make him lose that spike, and then she uses her character ability to reveal a Wear Lights to deal 2 damage. Gets a little value there. Notably, this says when the opponent uses the Prepare action, they draw 1 fewer card. He is not taking the Prepare action, he is using his character ability. So he gets around it, basically taking a Prepare action, as in drawing 2 total cards, and places his burrow. So this boost isn't going to hold him back at all. If he wants to draw 2 cards, he will. It's one of the few matchups, well, one of a handful of matchups where the opponent just has a very clean way around the drawback of Edge of Insanity. Alright, she's going to set an EX attack. Telegraphing the Wear Light, because we saw 1 Wear Light earlier. And it is, and that's a block. Alright. Probably good for both players, honestly. He gets to safely defend against this, but she probably gets to see his hand, or at least rip 2 cards out of it. Alright, he chooses to discard 2 cards at random, because he is given the choice by her hit effect. We have a speed 2 and a speed 6. Does he reveal? Yep. Alright, so per the character ability, that is 2 damage first, which takes off the armor, leaving only 3 guard, and now she has a 5 power attack coming in. That sounds a little weird. Remember, this ability does the damage. Like, it doesn't add to her power technically. So this 2 armor that's on block already is gone, but now blocks hit, or when you're a hit effect, lets Reggie pay force for extra armor. Looks like that was a 1 force expenditure to take 3 damage, which did not stun. Alright, Mole Knight initiating from Burrow. Telegraphs the headbutt, but it's not. It's actually the cross. Moves in and then moves back out. This is a staple of Mole Knight play, especially a higher level Mole Knight play, of using the Burrow and then backing off of it during the same strike to leave it open for followed use. For use in following strikes, I should say. Alright. That looked to me like a time for T, going to rip that last card away. It was an assault. That's reasonable. Do we have a reveal? No reveal. Alright. Eugenia indicating she does not have the Absent and Arrow. By the way, you're not required to reveal, but if you have a special or ultra, it's almost always optimal since it's basically free damage. Alright, Mole Knight resets the Burrow at range 4 from himself, and draws a card and draws for end of turn. 2 cards in hand makes things a little bit dicey for him, especially if she is able to initiate with something like a Plot Hook or an Absent and Arrow. At range 5, she doesn't have any other options, and of course, he could solve a block push. Alright, she prepares, and so does Mole Knight. Mole Knight very happy to regain some cards here. Eugenia's at an advantage, but it isn't dramatic, and as soon as Mole Knight strikes with Burrow, things could overturn swiftly, because 5 life is not a very big difference when you have +2 power, potentially, every strike. Only when he initiates, mind you. But still. If he initiates with something that gains advantage, for example, that could end quickly. Alright, Eugenia thinking carefully what to do this turn. I'm pretty sure it's back to her. Yep, alright. Looks like we have a time for T. Not so sure that's the value play here. Going to rip a card from hand. When I say time for T, by the way, I'm referring to this transformation. This transformation grants her a new action. Lets her spend 1 force to make the opponent discard a card at random. We did see a reveal a moment ago, but I'm afraid I didn't catch it on the stream. I'm going to assume it was the sweep that we saw earlier. I think we saw a sweep earlier. Could be imagining things. At any rate. Alright, Mole Knight resets the Burrow to range 3. Probably looking to set up that headbutt play. Headbutt via Burrow at range 2 is practically unbeatable. It's an excellent special. It's actually a force special, with good reason. This is a card that you simply... You wouldn't want to print this without it having a force cost because of how incredibly high value it is. Alright, we have a parry. Looks like it whiffed. That is Spike Dive, Burrow Dig, and 1 of each Ultra. Burrow Dig being the speed 7, by the way. Alright, not sure what the parry was, but based on this hand, I'm guessing that was actually calling the headbutts, because that was the telegraph here. And I'm pretty sure we have seen no headbutts drop. Either way, the parry whiffs. Eugenia player is probably going to copy that hands down for reference. Oh. Probably should have asked that earlier. Didn't even occur to me. Alright, 2 no normals in that hand. However, you could always just play the spike from Burrow. It doesn't have much of a drawback. It does lose to... Does it lose to anything? I guess it loses to dive. Well, they didn't reply to the remark about promotions. I'll provide them if they're requested. Alright, striking from Burrow. Could be Cave-In. Can't be Erupts. Only has 2 gauge. Personally, I think this telegraphs the spike. It's very hard to beat here. It loses mainly to dive and cross. And neither of those actually deal damage to Mole Knight. We'll see. Eugenia considering her response. So of those options, Cave-In only has 3 armor and no other defensive stats, so it's not safe against something like an Absinthed Arrow, which could hit for probably 4 damage. Would be safe against Plot Hook, though. We have an EX. This has got to be EX Absinthed, right? No. Alright, well that's immensely careless. That was an EX sweep, which is going to lose the speed tie against the spike. No card in that hand, using the Burrow, lost to EX sweep. So this is a straight misplay, unfortunately. Eugenia is going to lose out on significant value. Mole Knight standing on the Burrow, which is not where he wants to be, but honestly, given how much he won that strike, it's fine. Yeah, that was 7 damage, leveling things out. It's now Eugenia's turn. She might be able to throw a reading here on that dive. What kind of punish would we see there? Probably an Assault, maybe a Shimmer of Madness. That'd be a great attack to land because its transformation is pretty high value. Even though it's very hard to get Mole Knight down to 2 or fewer cards in hand, if you can do it, +2 power. We can see what +2 power is doing for Mole Knights. It would be nice for Eugenia to have the same. Looks like she's considering her turn. She knows the contents of that hand, so she needs to be a little bit careful. If she throws something, it's probably going to be a mix-up at the very least. There are a few cards which beat everything in that hand. And I'm not sure she has access to any of them, actually. Yeah, I think everything here is a mix-up. Cave-In beats anything with movements. Or that relies on movement, I should say. Erupt beats anything that isn't Spike, that doesn't move. And then good old-fashioned Dive beats Spike, although Dive doesn't hit. So Spike is pretty reasonable here. What do we see? It is the Cave-In, it is the Color Spray. That is probably good for Eugenia. It will depend. So this hit effect and Color Spray will make the opponent discard until they have 2 in hand at random. So 1 card will be discarded at random. If Eugenia can use her character ability to match the speed, that will deal 2 non-lethal damage. Oh, sorry, she's stunning no matter what, to be clear. She wins the strike. That is 4. But she needs to get all the value she can. There you go, that is a total of 8 damage. Technically it's a 6 power attack, does 2 damage, then it does 6 more. Opponent took 5, 8 minus 3, yep, checks out. But that's good, she needs to rush him down. Alright, Mole Knight drawing back up, yep, making sure he doesn't have too few cards in hand. He still has that known dive, which is a little bit risky. Apparently he's not too concerned about it. Oh, I'm sorry, wait, I think we saw that dive drop just a second ago on the random discard. Never mind. Alright, boost Molten Armor. Makes sense. He needs to level things out. And extra range also makes him particularly threatening, because now he can play something like a Grasp and hit Eugenia and probably win a strike cleanly. Unless she anticipates it. Mole Knight can absolutely level this out in just 2 strikes, if Eugenia lets him do it. She's on top, but not by much. I believe we have 1 unaccounted for Ultra, but Mole Knight does not have any gauge at this point. I am a little unsure where that last gauge went. I thought he had 3. If he only had 2, then I'm confused. It's also possible that he overpaid and I missed it because the players are playing pretty fast. Everyone makes mistakes occasionally. And I can't keep a perfect eye on things. Alright, we have a strike. Telegraphs the Shimmer. It is the Shimmer. It is the Grasp. Yep. Alright, Mole Knight's going to stuff that. Push her 2, deal 3 damage, which stuns. Gets her right next to that Burrow, gives him a very good position. I'll be surprised if he doesn't. And he doesn't strike. Alright, it's now Eugenia's turn. She can make this up. She will also prepare. Alright, Mole Knight has some room to maneuver. Looking at hand deck and discard, we got 7 cards in deck, 12 in discard, which Mole Knight is now searching. This telegraphs a reading coming up. We can see that Mole Knight has only 3 cards in deck, so 8 total remaining cards that are unaccounted for. That could be between that hand and deck. I have not been counting our focuses, so I don't know if there's a focus left, but searching the discard at this stage of the game suggests a reading. You could also just be evaluating your opponent's options, but certainly the reading is a threat. Alright, we have a tech. I think that was the dive that was revealed earlier, so it makes sense to get rid of it. It's a convenient opportunity to do so. Alright, Mole Knight preps. He is not afraid of reading, apparently. Maybe both copies dropped, or maybe there are just no normals here. There is a focus, and then no other normals, but there's the EX Headbutt, which we haven't seen any copies of Headbutt. There's an EX Burrow Dig, there's Cave-In, and there's the other Block Push. A lot of great cards here at the bottom of the deck. Probably going to see the Eugenia player take a note of this in the chat. And I think we are then back to Eugenia. I don't think she took another action afterwards. Oh, excuse me. Keep forgetting to do that when I'm hosting for a tournament game. Alright, we have a time for tea for a random discard. Going to reveal, deal 2. Chip away that life. This is pretty dangerous. She knows how good that hand is. She must be pretty confident if she thinks that she can beat a burrow play. Something like an EX Headbutt, for example. Okay. Yeah, so... Oh, right. We just saw the Cat's Cradle in hands. So this is a +2 arm, +2 guard boost, by the way. That Cat's Cradle means that even a Headbutt with 7 damage would not stun her and would probably lead to massive damage in response. Alright, we have a random discard on focus. Probably going to tip that Cat's Cradle again. Yep. Deal 2 with character ability. Continue chipping him down until he is at risk of dying to any ol' whiff. 1 failed strike is enough to kill him. She's also trying to get some of those particularly threatening cards out of the hand. Focus was one of them, so that's good for her. Headbutt is still immensely dangerous, and this extra armor means that... can she still kill him from here? It's tough. She has to deal 7, right? So... And we know EX Sweep is down, we know 1 Color Spray is down. I don't think she can actually kill him from here. In 1 strike. However, 1 more random discard and reveal would take him down to 3, where she is capable of dealing lethal. So notably, if Mole Knight plays that Cave-In, it is a force special. Not Cave-In, excuse me. Headbutt. It is a force special. Okay, here we go. This is almost certainly EX Headbutt, which would then actually cost a card in hands. So the Telegraph being EX Headbutt actually means the other Color Spray is a pretty safe option if Eugenia chooses to play it. Doesn't kill, but does trade, and trading against EX Headbutt is probably good considering it's extremely hard to actually beat that card. Yeah, so looking at these... Now, it could be the Burrow Dig, by the way. However, value on that is quite a bit lower. Headbutt at least gets you advantage. On the other hand, Burrow Dig... Oh yeah, Burrow Dig destroys Color Spray. Interesting. Alright, Eugenia not playing the mix-up. Oh, Focus! That is great against both of these, actually. Yeah, so this is going to be a 7-power Headbutt that costs a Force. And Mole Knight has no way out of the retaliation, because he moves to the Burrow, gains +2 power, and then either retreats 1 or advances and gains advantage. Either way, he's at range 1 and 2, and he does not stun. So, probably going to advance for the advantage. Yep, he takes 1 because he has 3 total armor, 2 from the boost, 1 from EX. Eugenia draws a card. Oh, sorry, this is a Wild Swing, so we have Unhinged coming into play. Hit the opponent must discard a card at random. That is a speed 7. It appears we do not have a reveal, suggesting Eugenia does not, or at least did not at that time, have a Queen of Hearts in hands. I don't think we've seen the draw for the after yet. Alright, Mole Knight preps. I'm not sure. I think she did. Well, I'll leave that to them. No, I'll ask. Because I don't think so. Yeah. It was after the hit effect, of course, so you couldn't have revealed it. Oh. Well, that may have been a game-turning moment right there. Eugenia striking with that card she just drew off the Focus's after effects. Now, Mole Knight has prepped. He has 3 cards in hand. However, without that +2 from the burrow, I'm going to offer. Oh, no, here we go. Okay, so block. Yep, Queen of Hearts is pretty punishing, but could be a lot worse. This stack often ends games, but against block, it hurts, but it could be worse. So drops a 7 and a 2, revealing the color spray to deal 2 non-lethal. That takes off the printed armor, and then we have a 1, 2, 3 power attack coming in. That is all. Also, Mole Knight needs to draw a card for the hit effect of Queen of Hearts. Yeah, notably, without the transformation on Chamber of Madness, which gives Eugenia +2 power when the opponent has 2 or fewer cards in hand, this deck's damage is pretty sharply mitigated. Alright, Mole Knight deciding, does he want to pay the force? Looks like he does. So he gains 2 more armor and takes 1 damage. That was Eugenia's initiative, it's now Mole Knight's turn. Going to prepare, alright. Still believes he can scrape this out in melee. Life is getting lower and lower. Alright, Eugenia checking her own discard pile, excuse me. Has 2 cards left in the deck. Yeah, I was trying to figure out what they are. Yeah. With everything else available, you can just count cards and determine what the rest of your deck is, which makes you decide, you know, is it worth it a wild swing? Should I reshuffle? It looks like she's striking from hands. Probably going for the kill. We have a color spray. We have a grasp. She gets stunned. That is brutal. Alright. Yeah, Mole Knight, because he wild swung, does not use a card from hand, so he has 3 cards in hand, which guess what? Color spray does not have stun immunity if you have at least 3 cards in hands. Alright, she tried to play the cheeky play. Didn't succeed. Mole Knight backs up with the boost on tunneling. Now she EXs. I think this is the Absinthe arrow. It's the only option left. This needs armor. It has armor. Is that enough armor? Alright. So her hit effect is that Mole Knight draws a card and discards 2 at random. If she matches, then the non-lethal damage will break through that armor and let her deal lethal the attack. Otherwise, she does not. So we have a 1 and a 3. Is there a reveal? There is. That is 5 net damage. Note that the hit effect is before the actual attack damage, meaning the non-lethal goes through, then the attack does lethal. Whew. That was close. If Mole had 1 more turn, she almost certainly would have been dead. Nothing she had left would stand up to a grasp from Burrow. Just a good old 5 power speed 7. That was intense. Alright, game 1 goes to Eugenia. So Reggie has to run sorry, no, that's not true. Zain has to run not Eugenia. Getting my tournament rules mixed up. Okay. So, with Eugenia outs, that is Sea Viper and 9 the Phantom on Zane's side of the field. From seasons 3 and 5, respectively. ReggiesWarOnEverything running Mole Knight, Platinum, Carl, Clover. Again, has access to everybody. Alright. These players know their teams and know each other's teams pretty well. Yeah, alright. A promotion at this phase, maybe the player has alternate art? That'd be my guess. Alright, we have our selection bags. What do we got? Mole Knight versus Sea Viper. And yep, that is an alternate art Sea Viper. Cool. Alright. Well, this is probably going to look nothing like that Eugenia game. Although Mole Knight will probably not look too dissimilar, since Mole Knight is a very stable character who kind of looks similar in most of his games. He does his thing, and then mostly it kills you. Sea Viper will do her thing, very aggressively, very high tempo. Cares a lot about the order of her deck, a little bit more sensitive to that than most characters, but in return can often blow you up unreactably. Alright, Mole Knight choosing to go first. Note that because Reggie lost the first game, he gets to choose who goes first second game. As I said before, Mole Knight always wants to go first. This is kind of a no-brainer. That's not necessarily true for every character, especially in Season 2, but for Mole Knight, you have a very easy turn 1 that just makes you way more threatening ever after, so it's almost always worth it to do that. Alright, Sea Viper going second. Kind of hates to do that, but gives you a chance to mulligan some more cards. Alright, we have the Burrow action as a standard, and we have Stylish, also standard. Alright, the opponent has +3 power, draw 3 cards, take another action. This helps Viper get through her deck faster to mitigate those consistency issues I just alluded to. She boosts for +2 speed and strength. Alright, Dive and Seismic Hammer are her two options. Dive is the normal, Seismo is a speed 1 projectile. Block comes out. Alright, cool, she gets in. This does make the burrow placement slightly awkward because the burrow being farther away suggests a effective speed penalty as opposed to a speed increase, right? Because you're moving from range 1 to range 2 for your attack, so a range 1 attack won't hit. Alright, Mole Knight spends 1 force, takes 1 damage. It is now Mole Knight's turn. Alright, we have a tunneling, yep, moving to the burrow, gaining a gauge, again, building up toward that exceed mode as fast as possible. Very standard play, very stable play. Alright, see Viper, now looking at that hand, probably going to boost and strike because that is her character ability. But might not have good options. That is the trick, right? How good are her continuous boosts? She's also looking at her opponent's cards that are down, which is not very much right now, trying to decide how lucky she feels, or how concerned she is about specific options being played in response. We have a reading, and an EX, and it whiffs. Alright, 2, 4, oh, excuse me. Alright, so sweep, alright, so cross gets played. This is EX size, but whoa, that's bold. Whew. Alright. Yeah, Erupt and Belly Slide. Alright, Seismo without crit is a pretty woeful stat line. It's 2 to 5, 6, 2, so speed 2, power 6, which is nice, but with no defenses whatsoever. So it easily loses to almost any ranged option. Now, Mole Knight does not actually have ranged options apart from block push, which is itself pretty slow. So that's not too bad. This cross, by the way, put him at range, which means he is threatening a lot of things from Burrow. Now, he plays light to get that other no normal out of his hand. He still has a dive up, which is a threat. She parries, getting rid of Belly Slide. That's a bit of a surprise. Mole Knight preps. Alright, she boosts emergency combination. Sorry. She boosts hidden weapons, which is on emergency combination. Pays a force, draws a card, adds gauge. Well, what did she pay for that? The other block, I guess? We have a prep, Mole Knights, up to 7 cards. Again, not afraid of that reading, and then Viper preps again. Both players are very comfortable with their characters, know their plays, moving quickly. Alright. Oh, I'm sorry, I said prep. That's a lie. That's a stylish. How did I miss that? Alright. What is supposed to power? Draw 3 cards, take another action. At range 5, she has nothing to threaten, however. Now, Mole Knight only has one thing to threaten, which is block push. We know 1 copy drops, I believe only 1 copy, however. She is going to reading that dive, probably? I believe it's still known. Yep, that is punish. Alright. So, speed 6, advance 3, Mole Knight moves in, then she closes, hits for 4 with advantage, gaining the turn, and placing Mole Knight on his burrow, making these even more awkward for him. This is why keeping no normals is dangerous. That dive is going to cost Mole Knight dearly. Now, she is at range 1, which is awkward, but not as awkward as the situation would have been otherwise. Alright, she now has 3 gauge, so she's looking to exceed fairly soon. However, she wants to get full value out of that exceed kicker, which is when you exceed, draw 5 cards. So, she's looking to spin more of those cards from hand. She boosts Exoskeletal, probably playing another Assault. Nope. Telegraphing the Assault. Reggie plays Cross and gets stunned by that Grasp. Exoskeletal is also good on a fast card like Grasp, because it means that even if you trade not quite as badly. Alright, Mole Knight calling Burrow, probably playing Dive. Which, yep, the Dive loses to Thunder Knuckle. Wild Swing Thunder Knuckle stuns without Ignore Guard because it doesn't need it. Dive doesn't have any defenses. Yep, calling the Burrow when it doesn't change your effective range is an easy way to telegraph a Belly Slide or a Dive. Especially a Dive. Alright, Viper exceeds. That is when you exceed, draw 5 cards, and draw for end of turn. She is now at 8 cards in hand, had to discard 1. Discard an Assault, end of turn. Mole Knight preps. Viper's up. She is keeping this momentum rolling. We have a Exoskeleton, excuse me. Telegraphing Assault again. Both crosses are out, I believe. It is Temple Massage, which does not get stunned by the Assault. Oh my gosh. Alright. She takes 1, and because this is critical, by the way, the reason it's critical even though she didn't spend a gauge is because her Exceed ability says if she strikes as a result of playing a continuous boost, it is automatically critical. The templating on these cards, by the way, may look a little different from they are in prints. They are, however, functionally identical. Alright, so she draws 3 cards, she pays some cards, she does some damage. Whew, Mole Knight finally exceeds. Draws for a turn, goes up to 7. Alright, he can now start swimming with +2 power, and Mole Knight is notably not very good on defense due to her card shapes. Alright, +2 power and strike. Yep, initiating. Definitely threatening the Temple Massage. I was expecting a cheater stylish play. I was not expecting Temple Massage. But not expecting Temple Massage is what gets you killed by it, so working out well for her. How we doing? Fierce Sweep into Headbutt. Alright. Headbutt can beat this, actually. Yep. It's going to cost Mole Knight. He pushes 2, and then he has to retreat 1. It's not too big a deal because he has effective advantage anyway, because it wasn't going to be his turn next. But pays 2 cards and does not get to use the Burrow, which is always a little bit sad, because, you know, Headbutt could be 6 power. It was only 4 here. Alright, Viper now on defense. Probably just going to play a block or something, because that's the... Oh, nope. Alright. She plays Cross, backs up, and then gets hit by an 8 power sweep. That levels things out massively. Oh, there's the other Temple Massage, which means Sea Viper is deprived of Cheater, which would let her play that Stylish from discard. She is now in trouble. Alright. Draw 2, that's Gauge, yep. Pays from Gauge, just trying to get some filtering here, meaning going through the deck, filtering out bad cards, getting good cards. That's the idea. Alright, we have Tunneling, backing up. Yep, this puts Mole Knight in a prime position to initiate on his next turn, and it means that Viper can't really do anything because she's at range 6. If she has movement, she probably wants to get in. This gives Mole Knight an opportunity to control the tempo, which is obviously pretty unfortunate for her. We have, looks like a move action? Nope, maybe a change cards? That is a change cards. Alright. There was the cross. Alright, well that would have been nice to boost a second ago. Yep. Looks like EX from the Burrow. Probably unbeatable, but not necessarily. Not sure what's up on Mole Knight's side. She responds... Whoops. Alright, Reggie tips early, despite Sea Viper not having been revealed yet. Alright. Plays a dive, which actually will save her some life. Being faster and moving to the Burrow means that Mole Knight cannot use his before effect. So this is 5 power, not 7. Now he does still get to draw 2 cards for his after effects. Of course he still wins the strike cleanly. But this puts her at range 3 and it's her turn. This is a big deal. Alright, we have Stylish. Yep, draw 3, take another action. Alright, searching that discard pile, probably either for a reading or just to evaluate what threats are left. Viper, like a lot of Rushdown characters, cares about what her opponent has remaining, because it determines what threats you have to respect, and what you can play with disrespect. Ooh, both players checking those remaining cards, actually. Only half the deck is down. Mole Knight has not gone through his deck very quickly, still performing very well. Looks like Mole Knight checking his own discard pile. With 7 cards in hand, it's very likely Viper has a solid boost and strike play. But she might be looking for a reading target. We'll see what happens. Yep. Players are going to take their time here. Very, very fast play most of the time, and then on pivotal turns, when you don't want to make any mistakes, when you got to be extra sure, slow down, take a break, and think. I've been streaming for about half an hour, and if anybody is not staying hydrated, please remember to drink water, it's good for you. I will do that right now. Alright, Viper has closed that discard pile search. Looking for the play. Electrifying. Alright. That is hit, spin up to 4/4, speech 4 spent plus 1 power, so up to plus 4 power. On curve assaults. Block push, okay. This is safe because even though the block push is not stunned, it will not hit due to range. She has advantage. And now it's a question of how much force does she spend. She's going to look for a lethal cocktail in the very near future to prevent Mole Knight from getting value out of his character ability. Alright, drop that known cross, makes sense. That is 2 force. She wants to make sure that she has a follow-up on the next turn, because she's going to have advantage, and giving Mole Knight much time is just going to spell her destruction. Looks like +2, okay, so 6 power. Hits for 6. Doesn't stun, but doesn't matter. Block push whiffs due to range. Alright, Viper gains advantage. Things are looking dicey. If she doesn't have a good follow-up here, then Mole Knight can quickly overturn this on his turn. One thing she probably does not have is the other stylish, since in most cases we would see a double stylish instead of just one. Like, if your opponent has +3 power and you're planning on winning the strike cleanly, you may as well give them +6 power and just get more cards. Alright. Viper thinking carefully from the look of it. Or standing motionless. Maybe having gone AFK. Can't tell. Oh, moving again. Alright. Viper trying very carefully not to throw, because if Viper wins this round, she wins the set. Well, okay. If she wins this round, Zain wins the set. But, yeah, semantics. That is a prepare. Alright, Mole Knight does not have a good option in hand at the time. He sets the row back to range 1, giving Viper one more turn. Every turn matters in a matchup like this. And for a character like Viper. Alright, we have more discard pile searching going on. 6 in hand, 7 in deck. Roughly half the cards up. Again, suggesting a reading is available, but also perhaps just evaluating remaining options. It is good practice to check your opponent's discard pile habitually, by the way. That way it's never clear if you have a reading on hand or if you're just thinking about things. She backs up to range 2, doesn't spin any cards from hand, this makes sense, and stands on that burrow. Alright, Mole Knight resets the burrow, giving her one more turn. And now she's at range 2, which is a lot better for her than range 1 in most cases. Her kit tends to like ranges 2 to 3. Oh, we have a reading. And looking like an EX response, hoping for value. Oh, nope, that is not value. Oh. Reading focus is successful. Lands the spike for 5, ignoring armoring guards, deal lethal, and win the set 2-0. Alright, those were a fantastic set of games. Breathtaking, honestly. Well, hope everybody enjoyed. This was an excellent example of a very fast-paced, high-level play between two extremely skilled and experienced players. Hope everybody enjoyed, and see y'all later. Bye!